Good afternoon, it's 4 p.m. We're bringing you the developing news and the stories behind the headlines. This is Storycon, I'm Regina Lay. Some stories that we're watching this Tuesday, August 12th. Senate President Cheese Escudero denied helping campaign donor Lawrence Lubiano secure flood control contracts. Escudero called the allegation malicious, saying that it's part of a demolition job to remove him as Senate leader before the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte if an impeachment trial comes to pass. Lubiano's firm, Centerways Construction and Development Incorporated, was named in President Bongbong Marcos's list of top contractors that collectively received 20% of the 545 billion budget for flood control projects since 2022.
Wala at hindi ko alam nga kung ano man yun dahil hindi ako bahagi ng kanyang kumpanya at wala akong kinalaman sa pag-identify, paggawa ng program of work, pag-bid, pag-award, pagbahay, pagbayad, pag-inspeksyon ng anumang proyekto sa pamahalaan, sa Sorsogon man o sa labas ng lalawigan ng Sorsogon. Tila nagkakatotoo na yun, sinabi ko nitong mga nagdaang linggo na merong demolition PR job na nakatuon laban sa akin. At tulad ng babala na isang kapwa ko senador na ito'y gagawin upang tiyakin na maalis ako sa pwesto at nang pag-final muli daw yung impeachment ay wala na ako dito.
Malacanang says it can't yet take a stand on the call for a constitutional convention to amend the 1986 Constitution. 1987 Constitution. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro clarifies that the palace is open to charter change if it'll bring clarity and benefit to the people. And she adds that some of the constitutional terms are clear but get twisted to favor certain interests. Cha-cha talks were revived after the Supreme Court blocked Vice President Duterte's impeachment complaint. The Interior Department has banned online gambling for its personnel, attached agencies, and local government officials. The DILG said online gambling undermines public trust and distracts officials from their duties. This amid calls from several lawmakers from Congress to impose an outright ban on e-games. And take a quick look at the weather now. Typhoon Goryo maintains strength as it continues to move westward over the West Philippine Sea. It was last spotted 560 kilometers east of Itbayat, Batanes, where signal number 1 is currently hoisted. Goryo is forecast to exit the Philippine area of responsibility by Wednesday evening. Meantime, the southwest monsoon or habagat and localized thunderstorms will continue to bring rains over the country. Veronica Kitty Duterte gave an update on the health status of her father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, who is, of course, still in ICC detention at The Hague. Take a listen.
His routine checkups. He is old and not exactly in the best shape, but he's okay actually. I expected him to be more frail, but he's not. He's doing well. He's even better as compared to the first few weeks inside.
Okay.
He's sounded more lively, more sharp.
Kitty also said that Digong is looking for her mother, Hanilet Avancenia, who has been reportedly barred from the ICC detention facility. The ban was supposedly triggered by Duterte's lead defense counsel, attorney Nicholas Kaufman. Meantime, Vice President Sara Duterte was asked about her assessment of Kaufman's handling of her father's case, whose confirmation of charges hearing is set for September 23rd. And here's what she had to say.
Hindi kasi ako pwedeng mag-explain para kay Attorney Kaufman sa kanyang mga preparations at mga ginagawa sa case ni former President Duterte sa ICC. Kasi siya yung pinili ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na lawyer. So we only follow kung ano yung choice ng client. Susunod kami and mag-cooperate kami kung anong kailangan ng legal team.
Still on the Vice President, she neither admitted nor denied her alleged friendship with former Vice President Leni Robredo. That's after, of course, former Senator Sonny Trillanes told us here on Storycon that Duterte and Robredo have a deep friendship. Here's what Sarah had to say.
Dapat siguro si former President Leni Robredo ang maghatag og comment kay siya man ang kumbaga sa iyaha directed ang comments.
Meantime, Duterte also reiterated that her team is prepared to face the impeachment case so long as it is brought to the proper forum. Recall that, of course, the Supreme Court declared the impeachment case against her unconstitutional. According to Sarah, the High Tribunal's decision proves that the House of Representatives abused its power.
Kung may kaso, sa tamang forum, mag-explain kami. Nagsabi kami noong nag-file sila ng articles of impeachment nila na ready ang defense team. Noong umakyat sa Supreme Court, yung kaso, lahat ng hiningi ng Supreme Court ay ibinigay namin. Pero hindi pwede na moro-moro na kung saan lang nagbibigay ng akusasyon at kung saan o kung kailan lang nila gusto mag-akusa ng tao.
The Vice President also addressed those attacking or commenting on her frequent trips and alleged habitual absence.
Hindi ko alam kung ano yung pinagsasabi nila na habitual absence. As I said, ito na naman yung style ng mga tao na anti-Duterte na nagbibigay lang ng akusasyon kung saan-saan at wala namang basihan, walang ebidensya. Alam nyo, ang akusasyon na walang basihan ay isang paninira lamang.
All right, joining us today, first up, we've got the Philippine Star Editor-in-Chief, Ami Pamintuan. Hi, Ami.
Hi. Hi, Reg. Happy Tuesday. Dami istorya, no?
Tuesday pa lang ba? Kala ko Wednesday na.
Tuesday.
Tayo pa lang, the two boys. Well, Ronald is unable to join us today, pero si Ed is running a little bit late. Dami istorya. What are you guys watching closely?
Tinitignan ko yung mga details about si Escudero eh. Well, what do you think? Nahihilo ako dyan sa mga binabanggit ng mga mga figures, billion. Sabi niya 1% lang daw yan, bakit yun ang pinag-iinitan?
Yes.
1% of the amount that was mentioned by the President.
Yes. So, to those...
Bakit daw yun ang pinagtutunan? And sinabi niya na it's meant to oust him just in case na
the trial pushes through.
Refile. If it pushes through or if it's refiled next year.
Yeah.
Pero it's the same senators, di ba?
Correct.
Magbago ba yun kahit magbago yung leadership?
Correct. So to those who weren't able to follow the press conference, basically, si SP Cheese jumped on the fact that itong Center Waste Construction only cornered 1% of the 545 billion peso total contract since 2022, which I thought was a bit odd kasi I mean we're not debating the amounts here. We're debating the propriety, for instance. We're debating the fact that Bulacan got the most number of flood control projects, and we spoke to our show Morning Matters, spoke to the governor this morning, the Bulacan governor, and he himself said nagulat siya sa allocations and how much Bulacan got. So we're trying to piece this together, and it's very confusing. And the governor, si Daniel Fernando, threw it back to the national government, saying, "Oh, sila naman yung nag-decide on the allocations, right?" And then si SP Cheese, he also admitted that he does know Lubiano, si Lawrence Lubiano, who is the owner, I think, and the president of Center Waste Construction.
Yes.
And SP Cheese was very miffed about the fact that he was singled out by Rappler. So let's be straight about it. So he was reacting to the Rappler story, feeling niya tina-target siya and sinisingle out siya, when in fact there's many other contractors, and he basically denied any influence over these contracts.
Meron nga daw demolition job, and I think he actually pointed to, well, not by name, pero sabi niya, alam naman daw niya kung sino yung behind it. And ang insinuation is the speaker. Although hindi niya binanggit yung name.
That's the problem. Ang daming insinuations, which is why a lot of people are also saying dapat President Marcos might as well go ahead and name them, because now what we're seeing with the media is everyone's issuing denials, right? Today it's SP Cheese. Yesterday it was Senator Joel Villanueva who said na wala din siyang kinalaman dyan. Because, again, yung link kay Senator Joel that some people are making is the fact that Bulacan is their bailiwick, right? And
Yes.
Bulacan nga is the one that got the most number of flood control projects in the last 3 years. So people are making those connections, and he immediately came out to say, I have nothing to do with that.
Siguro, technically, hindi sila yung nagpipirma eh. They are not the approving authority. Kailangan malaman natin kasi yung process nga dun sa budget allocation and earmarking of projects. So, dun mag-uumpisa, tapos dun makikita, wala siya actually direct link eh, kung lawmaker ka, to the contractor, ha?
Yeah.
Unless you own it, which
Yeah.
is the case with the, I think, the Co brothers, although Eli Saldico, this is in the house na, we're still waiting for a comment from the Co brothers tungkol naman dun sa isa pang kumpanya yon, yung
SunWest.
yung yung SunWest naman yon.
Yes.
Wala pang comment unless you got a comment na wala pa kami nakukuha ngayon. Meron na ba kayo nakuha sa kanila?
Oo, wala pa.
Wala pa eh.
Also, we're chasing
Yan
down.
eh.
We're also chasing down si Christopher Co, the brother of Congressman Zaldi
Yes.
Co.
Kasi nag-divest daw si Saldico.
Correct.
And naiwan yung brother.
And
Who was the former representative of the party list.
Oo.
Na bago si Saldico.
Yeah, and he is
Yan,
linked.
yan ang,
The brother is linked to High Tone, if I'm not mistaken. High Tone,
Yes.
yung another construction company that made it to President Marcos's list. Number 9, ang High Tone Construction and Development
Yes.
Corporation. And then,
ito kasi si President Marcos nag-teaser pa eh. Dapat kinumpleto na niya, di ba? Kaya tayo ganito ngayon eh.
No, but-
Siyempre, dami-dami spekulasyon.
but to be fair, I mean, it's hard. Kasi as you said, walang papers
Yeah.
dyan eh. Wala yan, there won't be any
Yeah.
papers proving anything. So it's for him to come out right and say there was corruption involved in these contracts. That's gonna be, he's gonna open himself up to
Di ba naman niya
libel.
sinabi, sabi niya, no accusations are being made.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. That's what I'm saying is it'll be hard for him to outright say that there's been malfeasance here without solid proof, because he's opening himself up to libel, right? But one person who has come out right to say that may corruption is, of course, si Pasig Mayor Vico Soto, who
Yes.
said that yung top 2 and 3, Alpha and Omega General Contractor and Development, and number 3, St. Timothy Construction Corporation, of course, are owned and run by his rivals, the Discayas of
Yes.
Pasig. And matagal na nang sinasabi ni Mayor Vico na there is massive corruption going on there.
And he will pursue. Interesting, he posted stages of corruption.
The 6 stages
May
of corruption.
stages pa, ha?
yung stage 6 is, natawa ko doon.
Oh.
It said, after you master stages 1 to 5,
Yes.
you go into politics.
You enter politics and successfully madalas Sasabihin ko nga sana, hindi lang naman from corruption yung nagagamit to enter politics eh. Kasi ang hirap-hirap na because we lack we don't have a campaign finance rules na talagang mag-work, no? Kaya sinasabi ko nga, itong campaign financing natin is the biggest money laundromat dito sa atin eh. It's one of the biggest sources of money laundering, and if you launder successfully, nakita niyo naman yung iba nating mga wedding lord, mga gambling lord, pati nga yung self-confessed drug trafficker, naging mayor ngayon eh.
Oo.
Di ba?
Oo nga.
Ay, hindi lang naman corruption yung nagagamit dyan para
Maraming
pumasok sa
leakages.
politics.
Oo, maraming leakages. Wait, I have to, before we go to GAP, I have to throw to GAP na pala, but I do have to make a quick correction from yesterday. Yesterday, I said yung only 4 provinces matched the list of most flood-prone provinces to the ones that got the most projects. Sabi ko, there were only 4, there were 5. The one that I missed out is Ilocos Norte. So Ilocos Norte was also on President Marcos's list of most flood-prone projects. Kasama din siya sa list of provinces with the most projects. So basically, only half of the most flood-prone provinces were included in the ones that had the most flood control projects. The other half is anyone's guess how they made it to the list. But on that note, we have to pause for a quick gap. You are watching Storycon 1 News. We'll take a very quick break. After that, we are speaking to Palace Press Officer USEC Claire Castro live. Keep it here on 1 News.
We've got developing news in the stories behind the headlines. Welcome back to Storycon, the Story Conference. I'm Ed Lingao.
And welcome to our set, Ed.
Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. It's Latin.
I'm Regina Lay, still with us. Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star. Hi, Ami.
Oh.
Oh,
Hello.
biglang
Welcome
si
back,
Ed.
Ed.
Should I remark about Ami's...
No. The window for that is closed. But during the break rather, we were talking about one thing. So Ami and I were talking about cheese earlier, and yung flood control projects. And you also
The donors, the donor
an
of,
issue.
that came out in Rappler, I think. There's there's Article 95 of BP 881, Batas Pambansa 881, the Omnibus Election Code, that lists down the banned donors for campaign funds or campaign contributions under the law, and that also includes under Article 95. Contractors directly or indirectly of projects for government, especially infrastructure and suppliers. So, kasama yun doon sa banned donors. Ang problem lang dyan, as
There's a loophole.
always is the case, kasi we raised that problem even in past elections eh. And the argument always is, pero iba ang contracting company, ibig sabihin, iba yung contractor as a company versus the president,
Individual
the
donors.
CEO, or the board chairman of the company. They're two different entities
Yeah.
legally. So if it's not now the company that made the donation, but even if it's the president who made the donation, lusot daw yun.
Yes, because that's an individual donor.
Yeah.
And by the way, these same election campaign finance rules are the same as in the U.S. So that's also how.
So that's also how they get around it.
how they get around that. But there's a question there of whether or not it needs to be tightened, because he does acknowledge that magkaibigan naman talaga sila with this guy Lawrence Lubiano.
I
of
remember
Center
we
Wings.
raised that issue as well in the 2013 elections with the father of Bam Aquino, si Paul Aquino, who had a government project. And the lusot also was the lusot was also that it's not the it's not the company
yeah.
that made the donation.
Yeah.
Even if the president, the CEO, or no, that's a different entity altogether.
Yeah, legal entity.
Legal entity.
Never mind that if the president was the one who founded the company, right? So one in the same. But
Or controlling
even-
stock, or if he
on paper,
practically owns the company.
Oh, it's
doesn't
different.
matter.
But anyway, that's an important detail to point out that under the Omnibus Election Code, bawal ang donations, campaign donations from contractors, government contractors, for good reason, right?
Yeah, because there's conflict of interest.
Okay, let's get on now to our guests for today. We are very special guests in the studio today. We have Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro, very in her beautiful red outfit, in her cheongsam almost. Is that a
Yes.
cheongsam? Oh,
Yes,
cheongsam.
yeah.
It is.
Because of what happened yesterday.
Before we get to serious topics, why did you become anti-Claire? Hindi ko na-gets yun.
Hindi ko alam.
Hindi mo
Siguro, anti-clear? I don't know.
Anti-Claire. Yun
It
ba
might be.
Hindi.
Oh, you asked
Sorry.
the question, so
Is that really it? So the people are saying you're anti-Clear.
I think so. Why? Because if you
the people who
are...
coined that are the Duterte group.
Yes.
I never
Oh,
found
the people who
out.
love you.
Yes, and what can we expect from them? They will never understand my piece, my statement,
Yeah.
even if it is clear enough for them to understand.
Yeah.
They will not understand that.
The first, well, there's a lot of back and forth, right? And one of the recent ones is about the travel authority to Kuwait. So, anong nangyari doon?
Yes, because when before I left for India, I was interviewed in Saturday night. And one of the questions is, aalis ang Vice Presidente August 8 papuntang Kuwait. So ano masasabi niyo doon? So syempre, sasabihin natin na we cannot stop her from traveling because kapag umalis siya, hindi mo yan pinayagan, issue yan, sasabihin you are controlling or preventing or curtailing the freedom of movement. So hindi, kung ano yung gusto niya, gawin niya. So yun yun. So ang nagbalita, tinanong ako. So at that time, when VP Sara could not be found, the location or the whereabouts of VP Sara could not be answered by the office, spokes, or VP spokes. So tinanong ulit tayo sa briefing in India. So sabi natin, ang sagot ko is, wala po tayong impormasyon patungkol dyan at ang huli niya pong Travel Authority, July 8 to July 5 to July 28 for the Netherlands and South Korea. Pero may balita tayo na pupunta siya or pumunta siya, tama ba? May balita tayo na balak niyang pumunta, that's the word,
Sa
balak
Kuwait.
niyang pumunta sa Kuwait. So, sa
Yep.
future tense balak pumunta sa Kuwait, pero as we speak, wala pa pong naihahain na request for travel authority. So ngayon, ang ibinanggit ngayon kay VP Sara, sa Vice Presidente is, sinabi ko daw na umalis siya. So past tense na.
Okay.
Umalis siya at ako'y gumagawa lang ng kwento. Umalis siya.
Because turns out she stayed behind.
Yes.
Kasi there was a scheduled event in Kuwait, we
Yes.
heard, with the OFWs.
She announced that
Oo.
in one
Yeah,
of the
okay.
interviews. So, ako natanong lang. So, as of now, walang travel authority. So, ang lumabas ngayon is I told daw na umalis siya without travel authority. Unang-una sabi natin, we have to use our common sense. Walang private, walang public servant, walang government employee na pwedeng umalis nang walang travel authority. So, paano kung sasabihin yon? Na umalis ka, walang travel authority. So, we have to use sometimes our common sense. No? Pangalawa, hindi po yun yung sinabi ko. Sabi ko nga is, wala tayong informasyon. Then, we discovered paano yung ginawa ng mga supporters ni VP Sara, in-splice, edited yung video. Ang sinabi ko, pinakita is, pumunta siya sa Kuwait ng walang travel authority.
I
In-splice.
see.
So that's fake news. Sabi nga natin, dapat careful ang Vice Presidente sa pagsagot dahil paulit-ulit siyang nagiging source ng fake news.
Help me understand, how early do people apply for travel authority, especially for officials as high-ranking as her?
Even a day before, I think.
Pwede even a day before.
Yes, especially
Okay.
if VP Sara.
And you have to apply for it. Therefore, doesn't the president have power to not grant it? After all, she's been away a lot this year, right? We're talking Netherlands, South Korea. Where else has she gone?
From Malaysia.
Malaysia.
Qatar.
Yeah. So I think there's a question here now of, yes, I know she's a spare tire, pero is she also fulfilling her role as a vice president?
It
So is
depends.
it not in his power to determine that?
Well, we have to check on her leave. Mandatory leave, vacation leave. If those leaves could be used for her travel, we could not force her to stay. Unang-una, sabi nga natin, it will be an issue if the president himself will not authorize or will not allow her to travel. It will be an issue. So you will, the president is now a dictator, preventing me to travel. I'm just visiting my father. So definitely it would be an issue. So the president would not stop her from doing what she's doing now.
How many days of leave does she get?
Usually, July 5, less than a month.
So
July 5 to July 28 at the time.
Oh.
For this coming August, let's just see.
So by months yun.
It
But
depends
I mean, in the year.
Oo.
Oh.
Kasi
Di ba
kami,
15 days lang yan? Sorry,
Oo,
sanay ako
sa hospital yun eh.
sanay ako sa
Oo, sa
private
vacation
sector eh.
leave, di ba? 15 days.
VL tsaka SL. Sorry, vacation leave tsaka sick. But I don't know about government.
hindi ko alam, sa government yata is na parang na-accumulate yung pagiging
Pwede
ginagamit.
mag-accumulate.
Parang ganun
Pwede
yung-
mag-roll over.
Yun yung pagkakaalam ko. Yes.
So pag itong mga biyahe po, I understand kasi they're supposed to be personal trips eh. Did I get it right? These are personal trips. These are not official trips.
Yeah, personal trips.
So when she goes on these personal trips, does she have to apply for a leave or does she just up and go? I mean, how does it work?
Yes, I think so. Mag-apply lang sila ng travel authority. Yun lang yung pagkakaalam.
Ma'am, you guess so which one? Does she have to apply for leave or hindi?
Travel authority. Hindi ko, i-check ko kung may kasamang leave. Pero ang pagkakaalam ko yung sa travel authority. Yan. Pero kasi on our part, kasi ako, personal trip ko, parang at least dapat may time eh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Para
That's what I was
makapag-decide
wondering.
eh.
Yeah.
Pero I don't know with Bibi
Kasi it's
Sara kung a day
personal, no?
before
Oh.
baka pwede. Hindi, cannot say on that.
Yeah.
You're just checking about that.
Yusek, pwede ba ako mag-change topic?
Ay, sige po.
Amigo,
Hindi, kasi sabi kasi ni Cheese, yun ang pinag-uusapan ngayon ng mga tao eh. Sabi kasi ni Senate President Cheese Escudero, meron daw demolition job against him and it's meant to kick him out as Senate President in time for, kung sakasakali lang naman, na magkakaroon ng trial, matutuloy ang trial, impeachment trial. No? Yung normally kasi ang perception ng mga tao, although he did not point to Malacanang, pero kung ganyan na, there's a leadership change in either of the Congress chambers. Ang tingin ng mga tao pumupunta sa Malacanang eh. Would you have any comment about this? Kasi yun ang speculation. Gusto ba siyang tanggalin ni Presidente? Actually, tinuturo niya yung pinsan ni Presidente, pero syempre merong ganong link eh. That's administration supermajority in the House. And of course, tinitingnan din si Presidente.
So far, Ma'am Ami, wala po tayong ganong nauulinigan sa palasyo. Saka hindi nga po nakikialam ang palasyo sa kung ano nangyayari sa Senado saka sa House of Representatives. So, ang mahirap po kasi, minsan pag naiipit ka sa isang issue, sasabihin demolition job. Siguro dapat i-explain na lang ng mabuti kung meron namang mga issues, di gandahan na lang yung pag-explain para hindi maipit. So, hindi naman ibig sabihin na kapag ikaw ay napapansin, may mga issue sa'yo, sinisira ka na. So, yun lang. Dapat, explain na lang niya mabuti.
Kaya pumasok yung Malacanang, kasi si President Marcos nga, held at a rare, no? It's a rare press conference actually, na may PowerPoint pa, at yun nga nakasama yung kumpanya na pag-aari ng kanyang biggest campaign donor. Kaya nalilink ngayon
meron ba dito?
ang Malacanang dito sa sinasabi niyang demolition job.
Pero sabi nga natin, kapag hindi kumilos ang presidente, pinipintasan. Pag kumilos ang presidente, may tinatamaan, pinipintasan din. Pero sabi nga ng Pangulo, kahit sinong tamaan dito, kahit malapit sa puso niya, kaibigan niya, ang gagawin niya naman to ay para sa tao. So, matamaan ang tamaan. Kung may liability, di dapat sagutin ang liability.
ma'am, still on the same topic, pero bubudo ako kay Cheese. I mean, I understand malaking issue yung contractors. I mean, if they're earning hundreds of millions of pesos, that's a huge issue. Pero, yun nga, if you're also listening to Magalong is saying basically that, half of the money goes not to the contractors, but to politicians, especially those who are in charge of the purse strings. Of course, they're in reference mostly to congressmen. Yung contractors daw, yes, kumikita sila, pero what, 15%, 20%, ganun-ganon. And, sa lagay niyon, ipit-ipit pa sila noon dahil the big chunk goes to the people who hold the purse
Specifically,
strings.
35 to 40%, he said, on average.
So my question is that I understand the president wants to talk about the contractors and who's making the big bucks, but who's making the bigger bucks? Shouldn't the president be looking at people who made the insertions, people who made the biggest insertions, and people whose jurisdictions had the biggest projects, and ask the questions from there? Biggest projects versus what kind of impact the projects have had. Wouldn't that have been a more effective way of delivering the question of who's making money in the contracting business?
Yeah, we will come to that. Una-una kasi muna dapat contractor. Why? Kasi dyan na natin matitrace anong may problema, saan lugar, anong ginawa niyong proyekto. Sino ang kausap nyo? Kasi mahirap naman po agad-agad na magtuturo kami. Halimbawa lang, yung sinasabi, eto, mukhang may pinag-uusapan tungkol kay SP Cheese. Pero kung wala naman kaming ebidensya, mahirap magturo. Kasi ang dami nga po na kakasuhan ng plunder, naa-acquit pa eh. So dapat kung magtuturo tayo, kumpleto po ng dokumento para pag sinampahan ng kaso, walang lusot.
Parang starting point yung contractors. That's what you're saying.
So ang contractors ngayon, mangyayari is they will be cautious, no? In dealing with the politicians. Kasi darating yung time, baka mag-back job kayo, ulitin nyo yan dahil kayo ang gumawa niyan. At baka ma-blacklist yan. The problem is, kahit na ma-blacklist yung iba, nakakapasok using a new name.
Yes, exactly.
That's
They'll
why.
just start up a new company.
Oo. So dapat, sa mga politiko na rin, kung hindi man agad-agad mapapatunayan na kayo yun, baka warning ito ng Pangulo.
Okay.
Warning ito.
Ma'am, teka, sundutin ko na rin kasi I'm in the same track na rin eh. For example, si Congressman Zaldico, I understand he was supposed to have divested already his interest in one of the Sunwest. Yeah, I think it's number 8. Diba? He's supposed to have divested, although there's a lot of talk that it's still within the family. I won't go into that because that's beyond me.
Maraming ganyan.
But be that as it may, I mean, Zaldico was Appropriations Committee chairman from the start of the BBM administration until January this year. In other words, he's in the loop, he's in the inner circle of the administration.
And it's a very powerful position.
One of the
It's
most powerful
appropriations,
positions.
yeah.
And appropriations pa, ikaw yung taga-himay ng mga ng pera kung kanino mapupunta.
And you have a seat
Diba?
in the BICAM.
Oh,
You have a
so
seat in the
so
BICAM.
all these things, you put them all together, that raises questions as to so if the company that's affiliated with him is number 8 in the president's list, shouldn't the president have known that from the very start?
Hindi lahat malalaman niya. Ibang trabaho sa House, ibang trabaho sa Senado, ibang trabaho sa admin.
I understand, ma'am. Pero,
Diba?
pero still, the president has DPWH and he also has the NEP and he also has the BICAM report. So everything falls into place. Everything goes up to the president.
Yes.
Di ba po?
That's why he is starting with this investigation. Dahil mukhang, may nakarating na. Kasi minsan, kahit ikaw yung pinakapangulo, pero hindi naman napaparating sa'yo, patago. Mas malalaman mo, medyo late na, pero gagalaw ka pa rin, katulad ng ginagawa niya ngayon. Kaya ang sabi ng Pangulo, kahit malapit sa puso niya, walang sisinuhin.
You said this is just the starting point. So may part 2 pa tong press conference
Hindi
na
lang to. Hindi lang to. Kasi this is just an initial investigation. So marami pa to. Kasi maraming iipunin at ibibigay kay Pangulo yung pinaka-report. At doon natin sisimulan kung sino ba dapat ang managot.
Yung sa you're saying, initial list lang to. May madadagdag pa ba mga kumpanya? Yun ang tinatanong ng mga tao,
Yes,
parang kulang
ma'am.
daw eh.
Yes, most probably kasi yung pong RPMC natin, yung tinatawag nating Regional Project Monitoring Committees, yan na po ay mayroon ng mga, nag-draft na sila ng mga review, kung paano reviewin. At mag-start sila ng site inspection. Hindi na basta ito nagagawa overnight. May site inspection, meron silang gagawing pag-record and reporting at i-consolidate po lahat ito. At pag na-consolidate po ito yung ibibigay sa Pangulo.
Posibleng may madadagdag pang mga kumpanya. That's not yet the complete list.
Oo, hindi pa po. Initial pa lang po ito, ma'am.
Why is the RPMC only starting now? Di ba that's what they're supposed to be doing, which is to monitor projects, infrastructure projects?
Pero iba kasi yung direktiba ngayon eh. Mas pinagtutuunan, itong project na po na to, itong pag-iimbestiga na to, ay specifically for the flood control projects. So dapat tutukan nila talaga ngayon to.
Interestingly, mama, yung flood control projects, sabagay, the President pointed it out ikumpara mo yung amount spent versus yung provinces consistently under floods, halos pare-pareho sila.
5. I just cross-checked. 5 names lang yung nag-match sa most flood-prone provinces, sa provinces that got the most number of flood control projects. Only 5 matched. The biggest one that did not match was Cebu, number 2 on the province with the most projects, with 414 flood control projects in the last 3 years. Number 3 yung Isabela. And number 2, as I said, is Cebu. And if I were malicious about it, I would draw the connection between the political alliances and say, well, that's because Cebu used to be under Governor Gwen Garcia, who's allied with the administration, right? So what would you say to people who are drawing those dots?
Well, this is just an initial investigation. That's why we need further investigation of what really happened. And according to the President, there are some good projects, accomplished reports, but we have to check on that. Not everybody is in the anomalous projects. So we have to check.
Yung sec lawyer ka, no? Kasi ang sinasabi ng iba medyo mahihirapan yata to link directly yung mga lawmakers sa mga kontratista at sa corruption dahil wala namang pinipirmahan, hindi sila yung approving authority. Ang inaano lang, ang pinakamatindi lang na accusation actually kayo nag-earmark niyan kayo nag-earmark ng project, pero sinasabi nila, hindi naman kami nag-award ng hindi kami nag-conduct ng billing, ng bidding pala, hindi ba? Sa tingin mo as a lawyer, madali bang gawin yon na, because you're saying kailangan tight yung tight yung case and you actually mentioned, marami nang na-clear dito of plunder
Oo nga
kahit
po.
hindi
Kahit
ba?
may ebidensya.
Ano sa tingin mo?
Well, yun na nga po ang gusto ng Pangulo, di ba? Ang hirap po kasi na mag-name names agad. Although may mga nadidinig po tayo, according to Senator Lacson and Mayor Magalong, may 67 na congressmen na involved. So since alam na nila, di ibigay na po nila yung report agad kay Pangulo. Pero dapat, kumpletong ebidensya, hindi pwedeng haka-haka. Kasi mahihirapan po, masisira po ang Pangulo dito na magpipinpoint siya ng mga tao, tapos hindi man naman mapuprove. So talaga po, kaya kinailangan muna yung mga contractors dito. Bakit? Kasi sila yung involved agad Diretso yung pag-involvement nila Sila agad nung gumawa nito. Bakit ganyan? Ba't nasira? Ghost projects? Kumita ka? Bakit? Sino ang backup mo?
You're hoping the contractors, to squeeze the contractors so that they squeal.
Dapat. Dapat. Kasi sila masisira dito. Otherwise, sila ang tatamaan ng kaso.
Is it just flood control projects where there are anomalies, or itong investigation is also going to look at other public infrastructures that may have irregularities?
Yes, I think so. But as of now, we are concentrating on the flood control projects. But I think, susunod pa rin yung iba. Especially yung mga roads, mga bridges, lahat po yan.
Yung mga so-called farm to subdivision roads.
Tsaka mga bridges na mabagsak.
Yes. Sa Isabela, yung mga bridges na bumagsak. Which, go ahead.
But how would you address criticisms na parang this is so belated? I mean, after going to the fourth year already of the president's term, now we have a massive investigation. We're naming names of big contractors, even though the president's saying that we're not saying that they're doing irregularities. But it's kind of late in the day. Ang sabi tuloy ng iba, parang biglang naghahabol sa last minute or last 2 minutes ng kanyang termino, and that it should have been done beforehand. What do you say to that?
It's better late than never. Noong mga panahon ba na nakaraang administrasyon, may ginawang ganito? Wala. Kay Pangulong Marcos lang. Bakit? Ngayon nakita yung effect ng flooding Although sinasabi natin, epekto rin to ng climate change. Pero yung mga maling gawa, dapat talaga nitong makita at maimbestigahan. So, ganito katapang yung Pangulo natin, strong leader siya para mabangga. Kung may mababangga siya, malapit sa kanya, walang magagawa, kundi talagang banggain.
Pero sabi
Yusek, ulitin ko lang yung legal aspect, kasi abogado ka Pwede ba, malaking bagay ba yung circumstantial? Halimbawa, eto, nakaupo ka dyan, congressman ka dyan. Nung hindi ka nakaupo dyan, tong kumpanya, 3 lang ang flood control project. Pag upo mo, bakit biglang naging 20, 30? Malaki bang kaso yon? If that comes out?
Pag circumstantial evidence, yes ma'am, but it would be difficult for the prosecutor to prosecute such kind of situation. Kasi pag sinabi natin criminal cases, dapat beyond reasonable doubt. So, kaya kailangan talaga, kung may ebidensya na sila Mayor Magalong, ilabas na nila. Hindi naman matatakot ang Pangulo na i-reveal din po yan
Is Magalong in touch with the President directly?
Hindi ko alam kasi Senator Lacson lang yata.
I'm sure a lot of people are asking, are they talking about this already? Kasi Magalong has been quite vocal.
That's right.
And the President's taken this as his advocacy.
He's welcome. Mayor Magalong, Senator Lacson, all those informations that would be coming to them, they just have to give it to the President.
Is this also just...
Or pricing, pwede ba?
Ano po yon?
Para yung price, kasi sinasabi ni Mayor Magalong, overpriced karamihan lalo dun sa mga road safety devices. Pwede ba yun na magko-compare tayo? Itong panahon na to, binili nyo yan, ito yung presyo sa ganito, ito yung nakuha nyo. May basis ba yan para sabihin in-overprice niya, sobra namang mahal niyang kinuha nyo yan? Hindi apples and oranges, same brand siguro.
Opo.
Same brand or same specs. Pwedeng basis siya na overpriced siya.
Yes po, kasi nadinig ko rin po dati si Mayor Magalong about the rack netting. May sinasabi siya,
Yeah.
overpriced yung rack netting. Way back pa during the time of former President Duterte. So dapat,
Yeah.
sana lang po, kung meron siyang alam about this anomalous project, dapat sinabi niya na kung sino yung involved dyan. Doon pa lang eh. Marami naman pwedeng itulong eh. Di po ba? Yung rack netting na yan, controversial yan eh. O, di pwede niya rin banggitin kung sino yung involved dyan. Para ma-demanda. And at the same time, sabi ko nga, don't just name names, but give us the evidence para mas matibay po pag nagsampa ng kaso.
Yusek, I have to ask this though, and some people are saying that, to be completely frank, President Marcos doesn't really have the moral ascendancy to be leading a sweeping anti-corruption drive, given his family's history. I mean, his own mother has been convicted of plunder. What does he have to say about that? Graft.
Okay, we can say that President Marcos Jr. is different from his mother, from his father. He is trying to give this legacy, fighting corruption. So let us just give him the chance. Ito na siya eh. He's working on this. So, wag natin isipin masyado yung negatibo kasi yan din naman na magiging sasabihin ng mga ibang kumakalaban sa kanya, di ba? So, let's give him a chance. He's working on this. Nakita na natin ang initial work niya. So, pabayaan natin siya magtrabaho.
This is what he wants his legacy to be? Corruption? Anti-corruption?
Yes, a part of this, definitely, isa to sa legacy niya. Aside from the fact na he is trying his best as a president to fight for our territory, our sovereign rights, our maritime rights, unlike before.
Ma'am, but I also have to ask this, kasi, the president is also the administrator of the Marcos estate, which fought for control of the Swiss bank accounts.
Again.
He's also the administrator of the Marcos estate, which fought for control of the Swiss bank accounts that eventually were turned over to the Philippine government because it was found that it was ill-gotten. So, it does seem to be, going back to Reggie's point, it does seem to be quite ironic that the president is trying to leave a legacy of anti-corruption when there are all these clouds hanging over his head, including that. See, I understand he's still the administrator. Is he not?
I'm not aware of the finality of that. I'm sorry.
It's been turned, ma'am. It's been turned 2003 pa Supreme Court ruling yun. GR 152-154.
And then?
And the Supreme Court ruled that it's ill-gotten, yung Swiss bank accounts, and it was turned over to the Philippine Treasury in 2004. You can ask Ruben Carranza, siya yung PCGG nun eh. It's been turned over at 650 million.
But anyway, even to this day, they are still trying to chase down some of the money.
Iba pang pera yun.
Iba pa.
Ito
Oh,
tapos
okay.
ito eh. Ito na
Hindi,
ibalik na
iba
eh.
yan. Final na yan.
Oo. So, ayan.
300 plus yung in-award. And naging 600 ballooned with interest. Kumita na eh.
Yeah, that's 300 plus
Pero
naging 600.
walang merong ill-gotten wealth. Hindi ba alam kung sino yung nag-amass ng illegally. Walang nakukonvict. Yan ang sinasabi ng Swiss government actually. Pinagmamalaki nila yan noon na it's a record for them na nagkaroon sila ng restitution of ill-gotten wealth pero naghihintay sila bakit wala napaparusahan.
I cannot talk for the Marcos family. I can only talk for the palace and the president. So maybe it could be answered by the council of the Marcos family.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry, well, you
Isa
just have to
na
ask
lang,
the question because
pahabol ko lang,
it's a
Yusek.
question hanging over your
Merong
head.
case ngayon.
And it's history
Merong
as well.
case ngayon na itinos sa Malacanang yung sa Bangko Sentral, yung monetary board. Sabi ng Bangko Sentral, it's up to Malacanang daw to sanction the two monetary board members na nag-resign because nagkaroon sila ng ghost employees. Ang sabi naman ng tinatanong namin, kailan mag-action yung Malacanang kasi mag-resign ka lang ba, you're off the hook na?
I will check on that, ma'am. Hindi pa ako masyadong aware sa issue na yan. So I will check on that.
Coming back to flood control projects, does President Marcos still have full confidence in Secretary Bonoan?
I believe so. Wala pang sinasabing negative about Secretary Bonoan.
Why?
Because I cannot speak for that. I haven't asked about why he's still giving the trust.
I have to point out, 3 years, Secretary Bonoan is one of those constants. He's been there from day one of the president's administration, and we've also seen 3 consecutive years of flooding, severe flooding. And we know this because we call Secretary Bonoan every time. A storm hits, tapos bunga agad sa Metro Manila or some other province. And he says the same thing, which is that they're doing something, they're trying to do something to address it in conjunction with the MMDA. But it doesn't seem to be getting better. Yeah.
Maybe as of now, as we speak, I do not have any knowledge if he lose that confidence and trust on Secretary Bonoan. But let us see with this investigation. I am not aware of.
Ano yung timeline, Yusek? You said there's going to be second
Yes.
parts, third part.
Yeah,
potentially
we're
to this.
just waiting. We're just waiting for the reports to come in. And we are even happy that Mayor Vico, siya yung one of the, siya lang talaga muna, mayor na nagbigay ng mga info. So parang ini-encourage niya pa yung ibang tao, tulungan natin Pangulo para maibigay natin yung mga information. So we also encourage other, mga Filipino people, yung Filipinos, to give us all your knowledge, kahit po, kahit hindi po niya ibigay yung inyong pangalan, basta po, wag lang loko na report. Yung mga talagang meron kayong alam, kahit hindi po niya ibigay yung pangalan nyo, ini-encourage po kayo ng Pangulo na ibigay lahat ng info para po maimbestigahan to.
That's through the website, sumbongsapangulo.ph.
Sumbong sa Pangulo.
Sumbongsapangulo.ph. Don't forget. That's where anyone, you don't have to be a government officer or working for a contractor, can go onto the site and report any anomalies that you find. But
Huwag lang marites.
Huwag lang marites.
It will just consume time. Na hindi naman sana masayang.
Oo, dapat may basis, is what you said, Claire Castro is saying. Dapat may basis, but yes, anyone can go in there. Ayun na yung, we're showing the website. Can go in there and report these anomalies. And for now, we're focusing on flood control projects muna, but there is a possibility that they may open up the investigation to other public infrastructure projects, for instance, roads and bridges. So, that's good. Okay, I think we've run out of time. I'm being told to wrap up. But thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Regina and Sir Ed and Ma'am Ami.
That was
Thank you,
Palace
Yusek.
Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro. We hope to have you back another time when you're free.
I'm more than willing.
Although I don't think you have a lot of free time. I can we already
Especially with Sir Ronald.
Oh, Ronald, nahanap ko.
Si
Sir Ronald, muntik na ako magpariske dahil wala ka.
Uy, that's a big appeal to Ronald. Naku, Ronald, bumalik ka na. Okay, thank you so much for joining Storycon today. I'm Pamintuan, Editor-in-Chief of the Philippine Star. Join us again tomorrow, 4 p.m. Storycon. I'm Regina Lay.
I'm Likaw here. One news all sides all the time.
Hindi. Tama na.